All right, Clayton Sayfie here with Anthony Broome from the Wolverine.com, back in downtown Los Angeles where both teams are staying ahead of the Rose Bowl college football playoff semifinal. Michigan against Alabama. We were just at practice out at the home of the LA Galaxy. Few observations. We got to watch 15, 20 minutes. You were looking a little bit more at the offense today. J.J. McCarthy out there throwing it, receivers moving around a little bit, O-line moving around as well. Didn't see a ton of contact, as you said, because it was early on in practice and they weren't in pads on the bottom there. But Jaden Davis also out there as an early enrollee. Give us your observations on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, again, not a ton to glean from it, right? Like, they aren't going to let us in and show us what the game plan is or, what the opening drive script is or anything like that. But I think more of it's more kind of a vibe check. You don't get the sense that they're fooling. I mean, you don't always put a ton of stock into it, but you don't get the sense that they're overlooking anything, that they're owed anything. Like, these guys showed up and they went to work. In the 15-minute window that we saw, a lot of stretching, a lot of quarterbacks just throwing the ball, wide receivers, running backs, running routes, a lot of technique stuff, just a lot of the super basic, back to basic stuff that they've kind of gotten back to over these last 3 or 4 weeks. But Jaden Davis, I believe, is one of 9 early enrollees that are with the team right now. And again, it doesn't mean they suit up Monday. They're just practicing with the team here in LA, taking advantage of those extra bowl practices. So, I mean, physically looks the part. I mean, it's not like you look out there and you say, oh, there's little Jaden Davis. No, he's college football quarterback now, more or less. So also looks maybe a little bit taller than we thought. We saw him last night at the Beef Bowl as well. He's probably somewhere in that 6'1", 6'2" range. So still growing, a lot of growth to do there. But other than that, just see a bunch of guys getting the good work in. Roman Wilson had a couple nice grabs and warm-ups. Cornelius Johnson does what Cornelius Johnson does. He was his vintage self when we saw him out there. But other than that, not really a ton to glean from it, mostly because they're in T-shirts, and I think the linemen had the shoulder pads on, but just thud stuff for those guys today.
Yep. Jaden Davis, Christian Anderson, basketball signee, and Doug McDaniel are the 3 guys during my time working this job where everyone's always asking about their height. How tall is he? Did he grow? This and that. Yeah, Jaden Davis definitely looks the part of a college football quarterback. Built upper body. Like you said, we saw him kind of walking around when the team was at an event at Lowry's Prime Rib in Beverly Hills last night. Pretty lavish setup for us. I'll talk a little bit about the defense now. I was honing in on Rick Minter and the linebackers for a while because Rick Minter, father of Jesse Minter, Michigan defensive coordinator, taken over for Chris Partridge there. Has been the case since before the Maryland game, but first time we got to actually see him. And he was really engaged with those guys, putting them through a couple drills. Guys looked, loose and confident, I would say, out there from the linebacking core. Cole Sullivan, number 18, early enrollee, freshman, who I was really excited about coming into this class. I mean, look, we saw 15 minutes, but the way he moves, the quickness he has, change of direction, and some of the drills they were running was really impressive. And Rick Minter said to him during a drill, like, wow, it's been 1 day and you're really getting better, Cole. So, again, take it for what it's worth for the short period of time that we were able to see that. Dylan Roney was working with the edges, graduate assistant. As we kind of heard over the last couple of years, like when these guys are talking to the media and they talk about some of the coaching points they're getting, a lot of them talk about Dylan Roney, Mike Elston working with the defensive tackles. So I think it's pretty clear that Dylan Roney is going to be a position coach somewhere pretty soon when he's done here. Our E.J. Holland has written about how impressive he's been on the recruiting trail, so I thought that was interesting, those guys moving around. And then Junior Colson, too, going back to the linebackers. He was saying yesterday that he has kind of fluctuated his weight throughout the year to play for different opponents. Now, all right, I don't know how, he's really doing that and how intentional it is because, it's a long season, bumps and bruises. Is that really his top priority? I don't know. He is down to 235, start of the year at 247 for this game. I think they understand they're going to have to be light on their feet, move around fast to contain Jalen Milroe, Alabama's dynamic quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, other than the Josh Wallace injury, potential injury, which we'll learn more about tomorrow, pretty status quo from the Michigan defense. DBs were running through some drills with Klink. Love watching him coach those guys up. He's tough on them, but, I mean, he's really detailed. Last thing, anything else that you are excited about tomorrow for Media Day? So for people who don't know, we'll be able to talk to every member of the Michigan football program, more or less every coach, including Jim Harbaugh, and every player. What's a question or two that you're going to be asking these guys, and maybe what are you most excited to hear about?
Probably first and foremost, how much do you want for the Rose Bowl snapback? That'd probably be the first question.
Yeah,
I can't. We'll edit that out. No, I mean, just from practice today, again, we'll see what the media day is like. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a free-for-all, which is nice. We don't get those guys with 125 guys here, plus the assistant coaches, a lot of opportunities for one-on-ones, so that'll be nice, a little more of an intimate media setting and experience. A couple more notes from practice today. I know there were people that I believe it was some kind of social media rumor, or someone on our message board had said something. Oh, they heard that J.J. McCarthy was limping. We never saw that. We saw him last night at Lowry's. We were at practice today. He looked fine to me. Again, I'm not his doctor or his knee, so I don't know how any of it has responded to it, but looked mobile. Very noticeably like gimpy when we were out at Maryland, but I didn't see anything that registered as a red flag. So I think by far for them, the most important thing in this game is having him. Nobody's at 100% this time of year, even with these few weeks to lay off. But to have him as close to that as he could possibly be is a huge key for them in this game, because they're going to have to maybe not take the training wheels off. I mean, there's kind of a connotation with that, but he's going to have to make a lot of plays. And last note, Jim Harbaugh is having a blast out here. That would be my last takeaway. But he has a blast tying his shoes every day. So
it's true. He sometimes doesn't love the media settings, doesn't love, some of the stuff. He was in his element last night, I would say, at the Beef Bowl when he was, kind of addressing the team and talking about what cut of steak to get if you like, take an end piece if you like it a little more well done. This is his third Beef Bowl, by the way. Haven't played in 2 Rose Bowls, or at least been there on the team, one of them during his redshirt year. But Jim Harbaugh is never more in his element, I think, than at practice. And every great coach will tell you that practice is pretty much where you want to be. If you're a coach, planning it, preparing for it, and then actually getting out on the field and doing it is one of their favorite things. I mean, tomorrow, for me, thing I'm most excited about, maybe put a camera in front of Samaj Morgan for an hour and just kind of like see what happens, see what he says. But you're right, it is talking to maybe the guys like Samaj, who we've gotten a couple times media-wise throughout the year, but some of the younger guys that are going to be factors on this team in next year or the years to come, or guys with big decisions to make. They're a little bit more laid back at this. They'll be throwing around footballs and playing Connect 4 and doing that sort of thing. They'll be able to have fun, but we'll also get to talk to them. So stay tuned for the Wolverine.com's coverage here on the YouTube channel, as well as over on the website for all of our coverage from the Rose Bowl. Media Day tomorrow. Tons of articles coming before the game on Monday, and then in-game and post-game coverage from the granddaddy of them all.